And your Louis Vuitton for my kids. Cause I go to spend and they go. I go to live like I win in lotto for you. For you. I didn't know to never run away. Say I should all right just to make us stay. But I tell you, I let you get that love. Okay, welcome back from that break there. Yes, once again, good morning. Good morning, Yei. Good morning, Greater Yei. Good morning, Central Equatoria. And good morning, South Sudan at large. It is exactly 15 minutes after 9 a.m. Today is Thursday, 22nd of January, 2026. You are tuned into the third hour and the final hour of the Access Radio Breakfast Show, and I am your host Johnson Poru Hillary. And in this third hour, we told you earlier on that for those of you who had been following us on our social media page, today we'll be hosting. We'll be having a guest here in the studio, and I'd already told you right in the morning. And before we dive into our guest, let's talk about the world. We are waking up today. We often hear the phrases of education. People say education is the key, but in 2026, we have to ask, what is the unlocking? What is unlocking? Uh, I think it is through education. And we are facing a rapidly shifting job markets and community that is hungry for development, especially Greater Yei, Central Equatoria, and South Sudan. The problem many of our young people face today and South Sudanese face today isn't just lack of degrees or lack of certificates. It is the gap between traditional learning and the practical skills needed to transform our society. How do we move from just getting a certificate to becoming architects of our nation's future through higher education of learning? And today, to take us through this conversation here on the Access Radio Breakfast Show, I am honored to be joined in the studio by a man who is the helm of an institution doing exactly that, is to change communities through education. Please, I would love to take this chance to welcome Mr. Daniel Ohide, the Vice Chancellor of Emmanuel Christian University. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Johnson. To be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And if you're joining us on our social media page, you can later on put your comment there, or you share with us what you feel is very important that can be done in the education sector. And also ask him directly, because he is the head of the institution of Emmanuel Christian. Please, we are happy to welcome you. Just quickly to dive into this conversation, please tell us about yourself. And of recent, we learned on your social media page about the developments that you have been taking in the country and beyond the country. And we also see that Emmanuel Christian University has introduced a new program. Please take us through that.
Thank you so much. Just about myself, who I am, of course, the name has been introduced. That is my package. But to answer that question, who I am an educator, I'm a theologian, I'm a mentor, I'm a passionate person for national development. So that is really the package that the name Daniel Ohide carries. And of course, I'm the Vice Chancellor of Emmanuel Christian University, an institution that has been growing, not just with the current South Sudan, but even in the days of liberation. We've grown from training center to college and 2024 university. And yes, this year we even have new programs that we have launched to tap and see how we can develop the dreams of the young people, not just in Yei, but also across the country. Yeah, regarding what happened in national development, yeah, it was such an honor to see that also one of our own was able to recognize some of our activities as a leader that makes an impact in the nation.
Yeah.
I was honored by that. You know,
And-
sometimes we do the things we do just to serve, and those who observe come back and say, "You are one of our own." I'm so grateful for Wane and many who voted me in.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
All right. And Now, just a quick one. The issue has come all the way along, and we see that issue chose this part of the country to serve South Sudanese, and Yei happens to be one of the region that has been highly affected by the conflict. A number of people fled this part of the country, and right now they are in the reconstruction processes. And the issue is here. Please tell us just a quick one. What issue what process issue is trying to put in place to ensure that people, South Sudanese, are educated? Are there opportunities in terms of scholarships and all that?
The story of Emmanuel Christian University has really been a story of people's development. And as I said earlier, on 2001, 1990s, those were times where nobody actually wanted to do something significantly as far as training of human capacities the concern. But then our founders, the like of Archbishop Elias Taban, the founder, George William, they came and they discovered that, yes, even though war is going on, people need to be developed. And so they had done so much. They went to Eastern Equatoria, Barghazal, but like a plane that was looking for a perfect airstrip to land. ECTC then landed itself in Yei, received by the Archbishop Elias Taban. It was in the midst of bombing the Antonovs and all those things. As a matter of fact, what took them to Goli was a way, can we go and find some forest where we can do some training and not be disturbed by the Antonov? That is how they found themselves in Yei. We later on came and joined. That landing was able to bring all people from different parts of the country. And when we joined, we could see South Sudan in one little place called Goli. And you could see Barghazal, you could see Eastern Equatoria, you could see all over. And of course, we had our peace later on, which gave us the opportunity to really build an infrastructure of a university. But that peace broke. But the resilience that has been made and given to us by the founders, we walk in those steps. 2016, when people were running away, again we ask ourselves, are there people within? Because as people run away, there are those who can run away, there are those whose parents can take them away. And so we were driven by those who could not go away to make sure that we develop them. As an institution, and Christian institution for that matter, ours is the calling to make sure that we reach the unreached. And when you look at South Sudan, as far as education is concerned, probably about 90% of most of our young people are vulnerable. They cannot afford a higher education. And that is the reason we said ECU must continue to survive and thrive by all means. Come water, come fire.
شكرا جزيلا دانيال. طبعا في اوقات بتا مشاكل دي مين زمان ذاته كلام نسقال مين في شكل بتا جون جيرينج في evolution في revolutionary war ده مشاكل دي لقد اسدي قولي لي صفي ف حاليا طبعا في courses ال ECU كتو في مكان بيتو وأنا ما بيعرف سبب ده شنو الكورسز دي أو كتو معلومات تانين وحاليا في سنة دي في حاجات في كورسز جدات اللي تجيبه وأنا عارف سبب شنو كورسز دي ما تانين براو لأنه أنا ممكن تبي بونس لكن أنا بيعمل باكرة أنا عنده agriculture اللي تجيبه degree وكمان في social works social works and development وفي تانين شباب شنو دلين في حالة لا سدنا في فوقت الناس بيتكلم قال courses دي طبعا دي courses اللي بيجيبوا قروش شري مالو ديل.
Thank you, Johnson, for asking that question. بالمناسبة Emmanuel Christian University بدأت ككلية باللاهوت. زمان الناس بيفكرين ده بس يقدر يربوا أبونات بس. But ككلية we grew organically. في جنوب السودان زمان يعني الناس بعرف ان كل ما يكون في كنيسه بيكون في المدرسه. فas a result of that ان احنا شفنا لازم we have to open a teachers training program that developed. And then when the peace came and احنا برضه لاحظنا انه كثير من قادات بتاعتنا ما يتدربوا. They need training so that they're given skills to run. You know, for 21 years هم كان في غابة وقاعدين يشاكلوا في التحرير. But now building a nation requires skills, requires even values, how you can carry the nation forward. So that is how our program of business developed. Now, 2024, when we were at university, we were given an honor by the Ministry of Higher Education for the undersecretary to attend the graduation. So the undersecretary was there and the two DGs were there. When they came here, we took them to the university in Goli. When they were there, they saw our coffee. And it was even not our full-blown coffee farm. It's just the demo. But it was in a time when it was flowering and يعني لما تشوفوا ذاته تشوف إنه يعني زي مدينة بتاع بن. So ناس قالوا لي يا دانيال عندك بن عندك مزرعة مشروع بتاع الزراعة الموجود في كلية ده ما موجود في أي جامعة. عشان كده قالوا لي لازم you must open a faculty of agriculture. And احنا قلنا thank God for that. So as the result of that we push because also we saw among our young people many of them are interested in agriculture and Yei as a region that is actually a farmland, we took a call to say we can take the lead in this. So that is the reason we brought in the Faculty of Agriculture. Social work, you know, as a country that has been in war, I know through teachers training and education program, we do some of that, but this country requires a lot of social work activities, you know, trauma healing, GBV, and all those things. And so as a Christian institution, we also want to bring an element. How can we solve our social issues from a biblical perspective? And that is how we brought that one in there. And of course, you know, finance bigul yahi, social work, bijibu gurus, you know, certificates don't make money. People make money. Okay? People make money. And I think as an institution that really believes in empowering our young people to be creative, to be entrepreneurs, we also want to bring that element. إنه حتى إذا كانت ترام فات وكل المجتمعين ده منظمات فاتوا, we will not be left on our own. We must have our people that must use whatever it is to keep our society going forward. That is why we have these three big programs. And then, of course, we were having leadership and management, which was at the diploma level. Actually, you can also call it public administration. We also thought we can upgrade that now. You know, we have some of our students who are in there. So we are giving a vision for them to say, hey, education does not end at a diploma. So we're bringing a degree of leadership, public administration that will also be launched this year. That is how we move. But I want to say that our growth is organic. We don't want to force growth. You know, like a human being, you grow organically. As an institution, we see what is there that we can do with what we have and how can it help our young people tap their dream. And as a university, that is our focus to grow.
Well, and that is the Vice Chancellor of Emmanuel Christian University, Mr. Daniel Ohide. And our time check is already 28 minutes gone after 9 a.m. And just a quick one. Were these are only the three courses that had been introduced?
Big ones, yes. We have got so many certificates. يا جونسون انت طبعا بعرف يعني في ناس كتير بيحتاج يتعلم عربي. عندنا في كلية بتاعتنا في محاضرين كتير بيتكلم عربي بيدرسوا عربي. وقدرنا نقول برضه للمجتمع بتاعي انه اذا كان في ناس دايرين يعرف عربي مرحبا بكم عشان ندرسكم عربي. نحن عندنا برضه قادة كتير يعني حتى في ولاية ولا في دولة دايرين برضه نجيب اللغة عربي لأن اللغة وطني عشان أي زول لما نمشي يتكلم هناك يتكلم لغة يعني مناسب كده يعرف برضه إنه ده زول جاء من مدينة فوق الجامعة. عندنا برضه يعني ناس كتيرين جاء من السودان الدارفورين من ناس النوبة ده نقول لهم برضه في كورسات بتاع إنجليزي. I don't just sit there إنه ما في education is for all and we want to educate the whole community في كورس بتاع إنجليزي. إحنا برضه فتحنا certificate في monitoring and evaluation is there. But then the big thing also here, I mean, this will strike a chord to you. And احنا برضو جبنا course في AI, certificate in artificial intelligence. It's part of life. It's like an IT, it's computer. And so we want to take lead in that so that the people of Yei, people of Central Equatoria, people of Juba, those who are within Yei, can have access. This is a tool in our hands. We are also leading and charting a way forward in this so that we are part of the growing community. And how also to find out values. You know, في كان الخوف كتير من الناس بس إنه AI ده بيجي بغير المخ بتاع الناس. لقينا it is just a tool. And so again, as a Christian institution, we want to train our people from young to old how to use that tool without us losing who we are. And we want to take a lead in that, not just in here, but even probably in the nation.
Okay, and if you're outside there, you love to do agriculture, you want to do social works, leadership, management, and all that requires for you to build your profession, I think ECU should be the place. Now, just a quick one, looking at trust on our local institutions.
Mm.
Today, South Sudanese, most of the South Sudanese are so much corrupted in a way that they don't trust their own institutions
Mm.
locally.
Yeah.
And you see people mobilizing money and leaving the country to go and study abroad.
Mm.
Can you tell us how can South Sudanese build trust on their own institutions, especially academic institutions?
Very good question. And Johnson, as a people and particularly as South Sudanese, anything outside is more attractive than whatever is inside. You will even find some people, I know bibiu kitenge min subitan na miyede la kella man yasal. Hey, tell you kitenge de gafa de wen. Zolle making be good. Ana gyptum in New York. It sounds good like that. So we have something that is self-defeating, that whatever is local is not good enough. But talking in terms of trust, trust is something that must be built. And as an institution, I do believe that over 20 years of existence in South Sudan and in Ye particularly, I do believe that we built some trust. I'll give you a story. Actually, a parent came to talk to me about how his son, who chose to study in ECU, is actually convincing him that all his siblings must come and study in ECU. And he was like, "What are you doing to my son?" But you know, like I said earlier on, trust is something that is built. One thing that I am very proud of us as Emmanuel Christian University, from students to staff, there is something when you go to social media, we say we are ECU. And so if we can build a pride from staff to students who are continuing to those who graduate, I tell you, people will come from far. Secondly, in terms of quality, we have lecturers that come from all over, Juba University, Catholic University. When they come to ECU, they say there is something special about the mindset of students, their attitude, and even the passion for education when they come to ECU. So these are things that we must build to ensure that we can create an alternative. Third, of course, being local also means it's affordable. If we can bring excellence and pride to the people who graduate, I'm sure we will change the narratives of people going to Rwanda, going to Kenya, and probably getting their kids back as cabbages.
All right. And looking at a responsibility that parents can play. Today we have Annahindu Shabab Kitir Alasa Biamulu Chocolate Bitam. Ogi fekirin ugal lisa maindu zaman le mederza. Hal kalam de kunsa ligo Emmanuel Christian University yade tabise yoman kev.
Well, I think one of the biggest issue we have in South Sudan, and particularly as a country that is going through a lot, there is this narrative that higher education is a privilege. Even when you go into NGOs, many want to support basic education. Come on, 2026. There are countries currently, if you have got a diploma, it means nothing. If you've got a degree, it means nothing. And now we talk about to become East African community. The pressure that comes with the need for higher education should make us shift from thinking higher education is a privilege to thinking that higher education is a right. Now, to the young people, if you can, I mean, you have a university here that is at your doorpost. We have designed our program in such a way that you can actually do your own border work, you can do your hustle, and you also build your skills. Yes, your parents are stretched, but they have given you a certificate of senior 4. We should be able to help you at least push yourself to educate yourself. So I encourage the young people to say, you have a university with access to higher education at your doorpost. Use your knowledge of your senior 4, whatever whatever you have, and they're hustling to make sure that you start, whether it is from certificate or to diploma, and you build yourself. I think last year the Minister for Public Service actually issued, I don't know whether it was a ministerial order or just a statement, that nobody, no civil servant would be allowed to be employed in the government without a minimum diploma of 3 years. Meaning, if you don't have a 3-year diploma and above, you may not have access to employment to government. Now, if that happened to some village in maybe the borders of South Sudan and Congo, we will not blame the people. But if it happens to you who is living here in Ye and there is a university, the excuse of no money or no is something that could not be accepted.
Okay, and let's look at, you mentioned something about coffee. And earlier this morning on our Farm Talk this morning, I was talking about coffee and looking at the relevance of coffee and the factors to consider while putting up coffee. Now here comes ECU is investing in coffee. And just a quick one, coffee, of course, coffee isn't just a morning ritual or any other type of crop, but it is a global economic powerhouse. As of this year, according to report, over 125 million people worldwide depend on coffee for their livelihoods. And again, looking at coffee, coffee is, of course, is one of the most traded tropical commodities on earth for many developing nations, and it accounts about 25% total export earnings of every nation that is exporting, that is dealing in coffee. And with the coffee project of ECU, where do you see ECU in the next 5 years with the coffee project?
We were talking about thinking far and doing things one day at a time. You see, on top of those statistics that you have, I want to add the fact that Uganda, with the leadership of Museveni, actually took for coffee as one of his big drivers for the Operation Wealth Creation. Last year, Uganda actually became the biggest coffee producer, beating Ethiopia and Kenya, who were known to be traditional coffee producers.
And even consumers.
And I think they gave the amount of money that they just generate from coffee is massive. Coffee is actually known today as green gold. I got into coffee more out of curiosity about 10 years ago. But as life goes on, I discovered that it's also a crop, given the circumstances we are in, the war and all those things, it can survive with little care. And so we have moved from 100 seedlings to 1,000, and like last year to planting about 25,000. Now you are asking, what will ECU be 5 years, 10 years from now? I think as an institution, given that the circumstances are all right, 5 years from now, we can actually say we will be in a state of dependence, not just dependence, but also dependence to the point that we can say, let us shift the focus from it being to empower us to us actually saying, why can't we restore this glory of Ye being a town of coffee? Because when I was growing up in the 90s, Ye was the supplier of coffee. All right, Khartoum knew very well that Ye is, but then I came to Ye, I only saw the real coffee tree in 2016. And then I smelled the real coffee flower in 2019. And then I tasted my own real coffee that I planted in 2020. And then I got addicted to it. In fact, I forgot to introduce myself. And I said to people, now I am a farmer. I want to make sure that we change the narratives of Ye, that we must actually supply Juba with coffee from Ye. But of course, you have the issues of insecurity and all those things and challenges. But I said to people, as long as people live and eat and give birth and have boyfriends and all those things, life goes on, education must go on, agriculture must go on. And so a focus on coffee must be there. And as an institution, we want to drive this.
Okay, thank you very much. And dear listener, our studio lines are already open. If you have any question in relation to this conversation here, you can reach out to me on 0925300888 is the studio line. You can ask a question about Emmanuel Christian University, or you can actually suggest if there is any suggestion or comment that you would love to make in regards to this discussion as about enrollment and the new courses and all the projects that is undergoing. All right. Of course, the coffee project is I call it a revolution. Because when you move out to the outskirts of Yei, you hear people talking about coffee and all that, and it remains as a history in Yei. Uh, as communities are trying to understand the concept, and today you have introduced agricultural course. Is coffee going to be the basic crop for the training, or there are going to be new, practical agricultural trainings? Of course, we have got different specializations when we talk about agriculture. Talk about apiary, vegetables, uh, mechanical agriculture, all that.
Yeah.
Is this in a package, or is this a full course, or it's being segmented in specialization?
Yeah, thank you so much. Just to tell you, first of all, I think maybe in Yei River County, and perhaps in the whole of Central Equatoria, we I'm not ashamed to say we have the biggest coffee plantation, 50 acres. In terms of studies, there has never been any, whether Juba University or Barghazal University, who are known to have faculties of agriculture. Their focus has been on crop and animal production in general. And so our degree, we want to focus on agriculture generally, but actually one specialization out of that, we want to focus on agribusiness with more on how can we really change the story of coffee in Yei as ECU. We want to put research into it. How can we, bring experts so that we can actually look into our coffee, how it relates into in the world market. So coffee and other crops, especially maize, and I see my friend also have cocoa here, is things we can look. But the focus is this is gold. If we can find ways to put some science into it, I do believe that as a university, we want to help improve the quality of coffee in Yei so that it can also play a big role, not just in the whole nation, in the region, but also in the world. So coffee is a big element of agriculture.
All right. And now let us move out and look at your your support community of Yei as a university and as a community that is close to the people around. What social responsibility is Emmanuel Christian University providing to the local people around?
Yeah, we have done a lot. Actually, in 2023,
yes,
when we looked at the student population, we discovered that the women enrollment was dwindling. And of course, knowing that the education of a woman is education of a nation, we took a huge sacrifice, even though we have our own financial challenges. So we gave a 1-year scholarship, full scholarship for our ladies. And Johnson, that changed the narrative. It changed the narrative drastically, that today as we speak, the population of students in Emmanuel Christian University has gone to 46 female and 54 male. That is significant. And it has also just like rekindled the dream of so many of our young women who had probably been, saying themselves, okay, there is no finance, let me go marriage and just cut their dreams off. Their dreams have been rekindled. And then we also look at our, Yei is a very strong Christian community.
Yes.
We also look at how can we, as a Christian institution, support that. And I think for the theologians, those who are studying theology, we have given them up to about 60% scholarship throughout their training, from first year to fourth year if it is degree, and from first year to third year if it is diploma. Theology was also dwindling, and as we speak, the number is growing, and it's not just growing; it's growing with passionate young men that when I see them talk about their studies, it gives me hope. Because, it is one thing to say we're a Christian community, but to be a Christian community with shaky theology is also a dangerous thing. And so as a university that pride in being Christian, we are proud of that. And we're also looking for avenues, even as these programs come, to see how we can give scholarship to not just theology and women, but also other programs which are coming. That is the responsibility that we have. And I think in the community in Goli, we are also playing a very big role with our coffee. We want to make sure that Goli becomes also a coffee zone. And so we are demonstrating for them and challenging them to create their own piece of land so that we can support them also in the coffee farming.
All right. I think there should be a network error, or I only see a missed call coming in on our lines being blinking. But I hope that they will get to us here. Now, looking at your role in the community transformation as a university, and as an icon in this part of the country, you should be the only university. And I see somebody is online. Okay. Yes. Access Radio. Sorry, you can still call on 0925300888. Tabiagder Howell Fragam Sifrtisa Idnin comes at Lata Sever Temenia. Wasal Suala Tadera Vice Chancellor Bita Emmanuel Christian University. Looking at your role in community transformation in this part of the country, you're the only university currently present. And I would love to know, maybe somebody would love to know, what are some of the current challenges that the university, maybe 3 major challenges that the university is undergoing, and what you look into, maybe some, if you're to be supported. Access Radio.
Access.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Yes, hello, Access Radio. Yes, welcome.
Network.
Yes, welcome. What is your name and where are you calling from? Hello, Access. Sama kwais lakini tabihawal kan mafi kaman tabra fi Facebook bitana itabi suala altarera saludainak au itabikutu sual comment bitakinak. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Sorry for the gentleman who was trying to call, but looking forward to hear from him. 3 main challenges. You see, the beauty of being the only university also comes with challenges. You have so many people who would want to come to you. And they if they don't have other opportunities, like for example, we have theology, business, and now agriculture, social work, education. When you have a dream outside this, you are locked out. But with what we have, I think it's a big advantage to the people of Yei. The challenges then we have is, of course, number one is funding. We are living in a country where the civil servants have not received salary for a very long time. But even if they get their salary, their salary is like maybe $10 or $20 a month. Higher education is expensive. And so you have a people who have dream and they want to study, but they do not have the purchasing power. That is the biggest challenge. And I think that is even working on us as people who are also priding in developing people's dream. How do you deal with somebody who needs so much but doesn't have the purchasing power? And I think I can actually really take this opportunity to praise the ECU staff. They have stood to build the dreams of young people, and sometimes with huge sacrifices. You are living in a country where donor fatigue is massive. We do not have any donor that is really like just funding us from 2018. So we are carrying this on our own shoulders with a few friends who believe in our idea of this country can be rebuilt. So this institution is actually running because there are people who are desperate to develop their dreams, and there are people who really want to develop those dreams. The idea of coffee, and we have been pushed in that to make sure that we have our own funding from within. And so if there are people in there who, if anybody runs to you and say, hey, help me to, please help. The tradition that university and the country has to be free is gone. Even you see some other organizations such as USAID are gone. And Trump is tightening so many things, meaning we have to build ourselves using our own resources. So we have the funding issue, we have the lack of programs to give everybody that is in there, and then the bigger thing is security. Currently, Joseph Lokade is busy doing a lot of marketing, and he's getting calls from all over. People want to come to this ECU in Ye and all the things. But then they hear stories of insecurity, and of course they hear the stories of roads attack and all those things. So that also affect that there might be people who have the purchasing power, but now they have been obstructed because of the security, bad roads, and all those things. And so those are the three big challenges that we have. But, challenges for us are always opportunities. If it was not because of no funding, we never think about agriculture. But because there was no funding, we have our own farm. And 5 years from now, who knows? We might become donors. The security issues, I will pray for our government and for those who are in charge. Please, Jama, we need peace. We need peace. We cannot be destroying ourselves and destroying the dreams of our own country. This is time that we must develop our young people. And if there is anybody really seriously there about the development of this country, I would say let us lay down our arms and let us find ways to dialogue, and let us find ways to make sure that we give opportunity for our young people to dream and build their dreams so that we can compete at the regional level, at the international level, as a people who fought and won our own freedom with our own hands. Let us give a chance to celebrate our heroes who liberated this country. So this whole game of war, I really pray and urge our leaders to find ways to go to the table.
Well, that is it. That is awesome from the Vice Chancellor of Emmanuel Christian University. And is there any call that you would like to make? Maybe a final call.
Yeah, I would. Number one, I want to speak to parents. In financial situations, when people negotiate, there is this thing like, a woman can go marry because if her certificate is enough. I'm challenging you. If you are a father, I'm challenging you. If you're a husband, if your woman has a dream to go to school, support her. If your daughter has a dream to go to school and she has the capacity, support her. Somebody says developing a woman is developing a nation, but I want to say you cannot develop a nation without a family. If you develop a woman, you can actually develop a well-educated and well-mannered and brought up family. So let us build a society by supporting our girls. Number two, I want to give to an announcement to churches. Sometimes I go to other churches, man, and you hear somebody preach and you ask yourself, man, what is happening here? There is a theological institution here with a faculty, with men who are actually capable. I'm calling you to come. You only need to pay about 40% of your tuition fee. And I think you can get yourself a diploma, you can get yourself a degree so that you build your ministry professionally and also competently for the building of our own society. So please come, and I think we're also having some donors who are interested to actually help our faculty of education, rather faculty of theology. So those of you who are sitting in there, please just go to our registrar office, pick the form and apply, because the applications and the scholarship will only apply to those who are in the system. Then number three, I want to thank our leadership in the county and the state for supporting us as an institution. And I really want to hope that as we go into this year, may it be a year of peace, may it be a year of progress, may it be a year where we will realize our dream and celebrate the goodness of the Lord.
Thank you very, very much. And from me to you, I would say that let us keep it. Let us keep it ECU, and we are ECU all together, and see that the ECU, we support ECU, and ECU support us together. And thank you so much for coming and for sharing this insight with us today.
Thank you.
We have learned very much, a lot from you. And from me to the listeners out there, if you just joined us, we are just wrapping up with the Access Radio Breakfast Show. With me in the studio was Daniel Ohide, the Vice Chancellor of Emmanuel Christian University. And we were discussing about the programs that ECU has, and the role of education in community transformation. And we also look at how we can access actually these courses, and how these courses can change our lives. All right, we have come to the end of the program. Education isn't just about filling a bucket or for fun, but it's about lighting a fire. My thanks goes to Daniel Ohid for joining us today, and for the work of Emmanuel Christian University is doing to keep those fires up burning bright. Stay tuned for the next program, that is The Voice of the Women by Nancy. And I've been Johnson Poru Hillary in this program. And this has been Access Radio Breakfast Show that comes to you every Monday to Friday. Let us catch up again tomorrow, the same program and the same person. Bye for now. Leaving you with the track coming in from Lasu Emma Sukulu. Bye.
Thank you.
Only I see